So it looks like Sony really is not learning anything about what Spider-Man fans want. And today we have a new plot synopsis for the movie that really shows us that Sony just has a bad plan.
It's called Madam Web. It is in the Marvel Universe.
Me and Chris today are going to talk about this plot synopsis and break down what exactly Sony is doing. Just what are they thinking, Chris? It's insane right now, right? I mean, it's actually crazy that they think they know what the fans want when they've been so far off the last few times.
You know, it really does beg what the thought process is. At what point do you push a product, whether it's a movie or a toy or a sport, and you just continuously get told by the consumer, this isn't what we want, and you keep pushing the same thing and masquerading it as the next step? How many Sony movies need to come out?
How many does it take for them to finally realize, like, we don't know what we're doing? I don't know, but maybe if people do not like Venom 3, maybe that's what's going to happen, because Venom is typically like the only thing they have in this Spider-Man verse they're creating that people actually like. So here's the plot synopsis for the third film, and this was first put out by Chris at 3C Films, his YouTube channel. So full credit to him. He got it from a survey from a person who did a survey for the movie, and I've actually done this before too. I've had several plot leaks sent to me from people who have done surveys, and these plot leaks end up being true. Because they're actually from the studios, right? They're supposed to be anonymous, and they're basically having people rate what they thought of this plot synopsis if they would watch the movie. So somebody got it, realized it was Venom 3, sent it to Chris, and he posted it. So kudos to him. Check out his full video on it, because we're not gonna dive as deep as he did. But this is what it says, and we're gonna paraphrase a little bit because we can pretty much figure it all out from here. But the third installment of the Venom franchise from Sony Spider-Verse, centering on the popular anti-hero. In this upcoming action film, the alien symbiote Venom learns through his multiversal hive mind that Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, is destined to kill him and his human host, the journalist Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy. So Venom persuades Eddie to hunt down Peter in their own universe to change the future, a task which is complicated by the fact that at this point, Peter Parker is just a 10-year-old. But after locating the child and kidnapping him, so he goes as far as kidnapping him,
a 10-year-old.
But before killing him, Eddie begins to have second thoughts. I mean,
okay.
I mean, obviously, right?
That's fair.
He begins to have second thoughts after, especially Venom exposes the young Peter to normal spiders, and a severe allergic reaction happens for Peter Parker. So Eddie has to take Peter to the hospital, and he pretends to be his father. So that's really interesting at this point. We'll stop right here because it's a lot. You know, in all honesty, like reading this whole synopsis, like Chris and I talked about this a little bit, like it's honestly not terrible. If they like started with this forever ago. But it is also terrible because they are now making it to where, you know, Eddie and Peter are so different from each other, right? And it's like, why have him at 10 years old? Right? Why not have just a regular Peter Parker who's Spider-Man, who you realize is good? That part I don't understand. But this is the biggest thing to me. We'll go over the rest of this and then talk more about this. But the biggest thing to me is that, oh my gosh, they're introducing a 10-year-old Peter Parker. They're starting over.
Again.
This 10-year-old Peter Parker is going to go on to become Spider-Man in some Spider-Man movie that they're going to do. And they are attempting to start a new universe.
But it's already starting with this bastardization of the story. Like,
I know.
Venom is going to expose an unmagical Peter Parker to spiders, and he's allergic, and like
right.
That I think at its roots, oh cool, Venom wants to hunt down Spider-Man because the hive mind knows that Spider-Man's his arch nemesis. That's cool, great. But we're kidnapping 10-year-olds and then they're allergic to spiders.
Go to your room right now.
Like, they did say it's going to be dark. Yeah. No, but it also it kind of really alters the origin of Peter Parker, right? Eventually he is going to get bit by a radioactive spider. But this almost shuts it like Venom off in the future. which maybe that's what they want to do because Venom 3 is the final Tom Hardy Venom film. And we know Venom is going to the MCU. So maybe there's some contractual stuff to where it's like, hey, you know what? If you're done with Venom and we're having Venom in the MCU, you can't use Venom in the Sony Spider-Verse anymore.
Right, so it
Perhaps
doesn't
that is
matter,
what's
right?
happening because this really does shut off Venom in a way. Like, yes, you can have another symbiote come by, you can have it, but it's like everybody knows. It's like everybody knows that this Spider-Man was in the Venom movie where Venom just like left or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird, right?
But so let's say they do Venom 3, and this is just purely throwing around speculation at this point. We do Venom 3. It's a average, mediocre, 75-80% score movie. Great. Now we have a 10-year-old Peter Parker.
right.
What's the plan from that? Is it we're gonna just see him again and now he's 20 or like
right, exactly. I think what happened is Madam Web is a complete failure. And according to some articles that were put out, they were like banking on Madam Web. I don't know what they were thinking,
they were
banking
also
on Madam
banking
Web.
on Mobius. They're going to be
I
banking on
know.
Mobius.
I don't understand why, but they were banking on it being a good movie. Like there's articles literally stating that Sony had told the outlets, I think it was like Deadline Variety, one of the big Hollywood Reporter, I think actually, they were like, Sony was banking on a new franchise being started and now they're not, right? So I think, and then Craven was just moved. And now it's a Christmas release date having to compete with a bunch of other movies. It's not gonna perform well. It's just really not. It's gonna be a flop. It's gonna be a bust. And they know that. Like they have to know that. So they're like, I think they're just like, let's start over. So in our last hurrah, right? We'll
plant the seed of Spider-Man.
We'll just plant the seed for a new universe to happen, and they might use the multiverse or some crap that Marvel's do. I don't say crap in a bad way for Marvel at the MCU. I say it for Sony, but they're gonna use it and do some crap in the Sony universe to maybe start over. But then again, like Peter Parker hasn't been in the universe yet, and we know that they wanted to use Spider-Man in Morbius. They showed us the trailer with Spider-Man's picture on the wall. They cut him out. We know that they wanted to use him in Madam Web. They wanted Tom Holland, and they wanted Andrew Garfield, and they just decided to scrap it. So they have been planning
to
use Spider-Man, and now it seems like they have figured it out, but it sounds like it's just kind of a reboot for them. But it to them, it all leads back to Spider-Man. It looks like they've seen the success of Spider-Man in the MCU. They've seen the lack of success with their Spider-Man adjacent characters, and maybe what they've realized is, you know what, these characters aren't as big as Spider-Man himself. Congrats, took you a really long time to figure that out, and now we're gonna go back to Spider-Man, and they just don't get it. They don't realize that fans don't really want this. We want him in the MCU to interact with everybody else.
Let's talk about the fans, the people. What has Sony done well across the Spider-Verse?
Well, and right away, let us know what you all think about this. This is kind of the biggest part of that plot leak. We'll finish it in just a bit, but this is the biggest part. So let us know. But what do you think?
Going to the fans, you guys, okay, you guys have super succeeded with this animated Marvel movie series.
Spider-Verse, yeah.
Super excited for it. They do great. They're very enjoyable to watch. What is the first thing all the fans are crying for? And y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but let's get Miles Morales in the MCU. Yeah. They're not sitting there saying, oh, we need a Miles solo film where he does his own trilogy and Sony's going to take care of him.
Exactly.
No, they don't even trust the parents of this creation. They're like, oh, that's really great in animated world. Let's get that exact character in the MCU now because we don't want you guys.
Same thing with Spider-Gwen. Like we want Spider-Gwen in the MCU. Like you're right. Yeah. And it's like, oh, we want to see this live action in the MCU. No, that's an excellent point. We'll finish with the plot leak here. But with the symbiote increasingly unhappy with Eddie's place as his host body, Eddie soon realizes that he has more to worry about with the appearance of a powerful new symbiote known as Toxin, an offspring of the murderous Carnage, who has merged with Detective Patrick Mulligan before vowing to destroy all monsters, including Venom and the young Peter Parker. And when he spawns a new group of symbiotes, including one that merges with Army Lieutenant Patricia Robertson, who begins a new relationship with Eddie, this new deadly alien group threatens to unleash destruction on the entire city of San Francisco. So that's comic accurate, kind of, except Toxin. Yeah. I mean, it's Venom who kills his kid. No, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's sorry, I'm thinking of Orwell Taylor, who's we're about to talk about because that's what I was reading. But Detective Patrick Mulligan just becomes Toxin, right? So that's right. Comic accurate. But this next part says, but a new heavily armored group known simply as the Jury appears intent on killing all the symbiotes in existence, led by Orwell Taylor, whose oldest son was killed previously by Carnage in an attempt to escape prison. That is different in the comics. Orwell Taylor's son is killed by Venom. So they're changing this to Carnage. It's the same thing. They want all symbiotes dead. So you have like 3 different moving parts here. 10-year-old Peter Parker and Venom / Eddie trying to kill him, then not killing him. Then essentially now they are protecting him from Toxin and a new group of symbiotes. And then they are protecting him from the Jury, who in the comics kind of have like Iron Man-esque armor, inspired from Armor Man. And I believe some parts were stolen from Stark Technology to create these. They obviously are not going to be able to say that. I wish they could have a little Easter egg, but
I don't want Sony to touch any of that.
I mean, so this could have just been a 2-part movie, Toxin and the symbiotes and the Jury, right? Or it could have been a 1-part movie where you just have him come back from the universe knowing who Spider-Man was and going after Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And maybe Spider-Man's like, oh, you're the alien that caused all this destruction. Let's fight. And then at the end, realizing, no, we were fighting these other ones. Some are bad. We're like the only good one. Oh, no, it's Toxin. Here's the bad one. Let's both team up together and fight him. Dude, there's your Venom 3 movie right there. That's what Venom 3 should have been. And that's another, I think, testament to the fact that it's just like, Sony, you really don't know what the fans want. And Dakota Johnson, who starred as Madam Web in Madam Web, who didn't like the movie herself, she's publicly stated that. She said that Sony doesn't know what the fans want. So I've been saying this before, but it's like Sony's just going to keep doing it to fulfill contractual obligations to keep the rights of Spider-Man. When they really, what they should do is they should just license, not sell them back, but license the characters to the MCU, and just they'd make more money.
I don't disagree, and I completely agree with what you're talking about. With it's just too much. You could have gone the Spider-Man direction. You could have gone the Jury direction. You could have gone but you're trying to do it all. It almost sounds like they're just throwing Spider-Man in there to plant the seed, and we're going to drop him off at a hospital, never hear from him again until maybe a post-credit scene, because this unpowered 10-year-old isn't going to be fighting the Jury.
Right.
Like,
he's not.
Sense.
Well, that's the thing, is like, this is Peter Parker, not Spider-Man. Like,
right,
literally,
he's not
Spider-Man yet. He's literally having an allergic reaction to spiders.
Yeah, it's like
until he gets the allergic reaction to the one spider.
So we're taking the one domain that Sony's almost kind of handled okay-ish, because my personal opinion is that Venom 2 wasn't even that great.
I think a lot of people share that. I think it was entertaining.
It was entertaining. It was fun, but it was severely overshadowed by its weird post-credit scene that didn't actually lead to anything.
Right.
And then, yeah, so here we come to finish off what has been an okay trilogy for a pretty cool character. I think Venom and Tom Hardy, the way they've been portrayed has been great. Their story, what's behind them, not so much. But it's just going to, die off with a whimper, and that'll be the end of it. Tom Hardy's done after this. Whether he has aspirations of playing a different character in the MCU, I'm sure we've all heard rumors about that, or whatever it is. This is going to be the end of it, and it's almost just like it jumped in with this big kaboom when we got to the first one, and it's just kind of slowly died out since then. And if this is the indication of what's to come, I don't know that it's going to get much better. I just don't think Sony has it.
No, I don't either. I don't think Sony's ever going to just knock it out of the park. And I think Sony realized, hey, this is Tom Hardy's last Venom film. We need to set something up that gets fans really excited because we have nothing else.
Right. And they're going to use this almost successful franchise as the catalyst to, hey, look, guys, we have a plan. Here's Peter Parker. You'll see him again in 5 years. Maybe.
When he's, like, it's like, oh, man. Okay, so y'all let us know what you think. Like, first of all, let us know what you think about the plot synopsis. Does it sound like a good movie to y'all? But most importantly, Sony seems to be starting starting fresh from and creating a new universe. What do you think of that? Are you going to watch new Spider-Man movies if Sony does them while we have Spider-Man in the MCU still? Or would you rather them just license everything to Marvel and let them use the characters? Please let us know in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back again very soon. We'll catch you all next time. Woof woof.
Bye.